Let your breathing slow. Let the warmth of your own bed become a soft, heavy fur wrapped around you on a cold, quiet night. Let the sounds of the modern world, the hum of the heating, the distant noise of a car, the faint glow of a screen, dissolve into a deep and peaceful silence. You are safe. You are warm. And I am going to take you now on a quiet journey. Not to a place of loud feasts or stormy seas, but to a place of deep, simple, and profound comfort. We are going to spend a single peaceful winter day inside a Viking Longhouse. The world outside is white and still. Imagine a long, narrow fjord, its dark, deep water framed by steep, snow-covered mountains. The sky is a soft, pale gray, and the snow is falling very gently in large, silent flakes. A few dark, bare trees stand by the water's edge, their branches outlined in white. The only sound is the soft, muffled whisper of the snow and the distant, rhythmic sigh of the sea. There are no engines. There are no voices. Just the immense, peaceful silence of a northern winter. And there, on a gentle slope of green grass now covered in a thick blanket of white, sits the Longhouse. It is a long, low building, its roof curved like the hull of an upturned ship. The walls are made of thick, dark timber, and the roof is covered in layers of turf, now also blanketed in snow. A thin, gentle column of pale gray smoke rises from a small hole in the center of the roof, the only sign of life in the frozen landscape. The first, pale light of the short winter day is just beginning to glow on the eastern horizon, a soft, cold band of lemon yellow and pale pink. Imagine you are inside this longhouse now. You push open a heavy timber door and step into a world of warmth and shadow. The first thing you notice is the smell. It is a rich, complex, and deeply comforting perfume. You can smell the sharp, clean scent of pine from the timber walls. You can smell the earthy, pungent scent of dried hay on the floor. And above all, you can smell the sweet, smoky, all-pervading scent of the central hearth. The air is warm, almost hot, and it wraps around you like a heavy, comforting blanket after the sharp, clean cold outside. The Longhouse is a single, long room. The light is dim and soft, coming only from the central hearth and a few small oil lamps. The hearth is not a fireplace against a wall. It is a long, shallow pit right in the middle of the earthen floor stretching down the center of the hall. A long, slow-burning fire of birch logs crackles softly, its flames a warm, dancing orange and gold. The smoke rises lazily up to the high, dark roof and drifts out through the small opening at the top. The fire is the heart of the Longhouse. It is the source of heat, the source of light, and the center of all life. You are waking now. You have been sleeping on one of the raised timber platforms that run along both sides of the hall. Your bed is a simple, thick mattress stuffed with straw and sweet-smelling dried bracken. You are wrapped in a heavy, soft blanket of thick, undyed wool, and on top of that, a great heavy fur of a dark brown bear. The fur is incredibly warm and soft, and the weight of it is deeply, profoundly comforting. You push it back slowly, and the cool air of the hall nips at your cheeks. But the rest of your body is wonderfully warm. You sit up, your bare feet touching the wooden edge of the sleeping platform. The wood is smooth and polished from years of use. You pull on your clothes for the day, a thick, long-sleeved tunic of rough, heavy wool that reaches to your knees. Thick woolen leggings, cross-bound with strips of soft leather. A pair of heavy calfskin boots lined with sheep's wool. Every piece of clothing smells faintly of wood smoke. The wool is not soft and fine. It is heavy and rough, and it scratches your skin gently. You can feel the weight of it on your shoulders, a constant protective layer against the cold. You walk towards the hearth. The longfire is already being tended. A quiet older man with a long gray beard is crouched beside it, carefully placing fresh logs of birch onto the glowing embers. He does this with a slow, patient reverence. The fire is the most important thing in the longhouse. It must never go out. The embers are a deep, glowing orange, like a dragon's breath, and they crackle softly as the fresh wood catches fire with a soft, satisfied sigh. The flames leap up, casting long, dancing shadows on the high, smoke-darkened timber walls. The morning meal is very simple. There is no breakfast table. You take a simple wooden bowl and a horn spoon. From a large iron pot that simmers constantly at the edge of the fire, you ladle out a portion of thick, warm porridge. It is made from ground barley, and it is thick and creamy, though not sweet. There is no sugar. You add a small sprinkle of crushed hazelnuts and a tiny, precious pinch of salt. You sit on the edge of the sleeping platform, the warm bowl in your hands, and you eat slowly. The porridge is warm and filling, and it tastes deeply, honestly of the grain. You also have a piece of flat, coarse barley bread baked on a flat stone by the fire. It is hard and dry, and you dip it into your porridge to soften it. To drink, there is a cup of weak, warm ale, or perhaps just water from a wooden bucket that has been brought in from a fresh, icy stream. This is your fuel for the short, dark day. It is simple, it is humble, but it is deeply and completely satisfying. The morning's work is quiet and gentle. There are no fields to plow in the deep snow. The work is all indoors, focused on mending and making. You sit on a low wooden stool near the warm hearth. The light from the fire is a soft golden glow. You take out a small broken tool, perhaps a wooden rake with a broken tooth, and you set to work repairing it with a small, sharp knife and a piece of fresh, strong ash wood. The knife makes a soft, rhythmic scraping sound as you carve the new tooth. Scrape, scrape, scrape. It is a quiet, patient, meditative sound. From further down the hall, you hear the gentle, rhythmic, creaking clack of a warp-weighted loom. A quiet, steady figure is weaving a new length of heavy, warm wool cloth. The loom is a tall, upright wooden frame that leans against the wall. The weighted warp threads hang down, and the weaver passes the shuttle back and forth with a slow, practiced rhythm, beating the new weft thread into place with a smooth, polished wooden batten. The soft, rhythmic sounds of the loom are a constant, calming heartbeat in the hall. Someone else is sitting near the fire using a spindle to spin raw sheep's wool into fine, even thread. The spindle is a simple, beautifully carved wooden stick with a round stone whorl at the bottom. The spinner pulls a few fibers from a cloud of soft, raw wool, twists them with a gentle, practiced motion of the fingers, and then lets the spindle drop and spin, winding the new thread onto the shaft. The spindle twirls in the air, a hypnotic, silent dance before being caught and the process repeated. Drop, spin, wind. Drop, spin, wind. The work is quiet, repetitive, and deeply peaceful. The wool itself smells faintly of sheep and the fresh, cold air it was gathered in. Your own task this morning is to mend the tool. You focus on the slow, careful work. The warm fire crackles. The soft snow falls silently outside. The longhouse is a place of profound, productive peace. After several hours, the short day is already beginning to darken. The pale, gray light seeping in around the edges of the door fades to a soft, dusky purple. The midday meal is the main meal of the day, a simple shared pottage. Everyone gathers around the central hearth. The cook ladles out a rich, dark broth from the large iron pot. The broth is made from dried fish, perhaps some preserved mutton from the autumn, barley and root vegetables like turnips and carrots that have been stored in the cold earth. It is thick and salty and deeply wonderfully savory. The steam from the bowls rises up and mingles with the wood smoke. You sit on the warm earthen floor by the fire, leaning against the sleeping platform, eating slowly and listening to the quiet, peaceful murmur of conversation around you. After the meal, as the deep, profound darkness of the winter night settles completely over the world outside, the hall becomes a place of stories. The fire is stoked higher, and the warm, dancing light pushes the shadows back. Everyone gathers together. This is the time for the skald, the storyteller. The skald is an older man, with a kind, deeply lined face and eyes that hold the wisdom of the sea and the mountains. He does not stand up. He simply sits by the hearth, his voice a calm, deep, rhythmic murmur that carries effortlessly through the hall. He begins to recite a saga, not a loud, violent tale of battle, but a quiet, beautiful story of a journey to a distant land, or the story of the first people to settle this very fjord, or a tale of the gods and their quiet, patient wisdom. His voice is a calm, reassuring lullaby, and the complex, rhythmic language of the saga washes over you in gentle, hypnotic waves. You may not understand every word, but you understand the feeling of belonging, the feeling of safety, the feeling of a long, unbroken line of people who have sat by this same fire on a dark winter night, listening to the same ancient, comforting stories. The fire has now burned down to a deep, glowing bed of embers. The oil lamps have been extinguished. The longhouse is dark and incredibly warm. The saga is over. The only sound is the soft, rhythmic breathing of dozens of people settling into sleep, and the profound, velvety silence of the snow-filled night outside the thick walls. You lie down on your sleeping platform, pulling the heavy bear fur over you. The weight is immense and deeply reassuring. You are surrounded by people. You are safe. The fire may be only embers, but the collective warmth of the house and its inhabitants makes the air wonderfully comfortable. You close your eyes. The last thing you hear is the soft, distant sigh of the wind around the eaves and the gentle, rhythmic crackle of the dying embers in the dark. Outside, the snow continues to fall softly, silently, blanketing the longhouse, the fjord, and the mountains in a deep, white, peaceful sleep. And so, as you drift now in your own soft bed, let the quiet images of that winter day in the longhouse settle over you. The smell of wood smoke and pine, the rough, warm texture of wool, the soft dance of the spindle, the warm, salty taste of the broth, the deep, ancient, comforting rhythm of the storyteller's voice. You are safe. You are warm. You are at peace. Rest now, like the quiet, snowy fjord, under the deep, silent night of the north.